Tuanku.
Good evening, you're watching AWANI Tonight with me, Farhana Sheikh. Sungai Bakap assemblyman passed away this afternoon after being admitted for a month at the intensive care unit of the Seberang Jaya Hospital. The PAS ulama was admitted to the hospital due to inflammation in the stomach at the end of April. He was 56 years old. The first-time assemblyman who also suffered from diabetes and hypertension was the Nibong Tebal PAS chief. He contested the Sungai Bakap seat in the state elections last August and won against Pakatan Harapan's Nur Hidayah Cik Ros with a majority of 1,563 votes. With his passing, another state by-election looms after the recent Kuala Kubu Baru by-election in Selangor earlier this month. 5 suspects linked to a fatal shooting at the Ulu Tiram police station have been re-arrested under SOSMA. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razarudin Hussein says officers have so far called in 47 witnesses.
Kes Ulu Tiram, 5 beranak itu kita tahan di bawah SOSMA hari ini. Riman dia tamat pada hari ini dan kita tahan di bawah SOSMA. Apa yang telah pun disebut oleh saya sebelum ini, disyaki bapa dia itu adalah jemaah Islamiah, betul. Itu memang ada dalam data dan rekod kita.
Under SOSMA, suspects can be held for 28 days without bail. Razarudin said interviews with witnesses revealed that the family had been isolated from the rest of the community, while the youngest child had never attended school. The attacker at the Ulu Tiram police station was shot dead after killing 2 policemen and injuring another on May 17th. 5 members of his family, aged between 19 and 62, were then arrested, although investigations confirmed that the main suspect was not a JI member. Meanwhile, police are investigating the motives behind the recent attacks involving national football players. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Razarudin Hussein said once they've determined the motives, only then can they conclude if these attacks are linked to one another. In connection with the acid attack involving Selangor FC football player Faisal Halim, he said the police is still tracking the suspect based on the sketch that was distributed and the video of the incident. He added that 23 people have had their statements recorded so far regarding the case. While on the robbery of Selangor player Ahmad Huzaimi PE, he said that it was likely that the suspect observed his victim's routine and assumed that footballers have a lot of money. Huzaimi lost a motorcycle, 4 bags of various brands and an international passport. In other news, the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry has secured 1.45 billion ringgit of potential investments and 550 million ringgit of potential exports on Friday. Several of the projects will be implemented within a 3-year time horizon and will help Malaysia create a strong ecosystem in the semiconductor, renewable energy and green technology.
A few of these projects are key towards achieving Malaysia's carbon neutrality target by 2050. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said such projects reflect Japanese investors' continued confidence in Malaysia's industrial landscape, which is undergoing key transformative initiatives outlined in the new Industrial Master Plan 2030 and the National Energy Transition Roadmap. The potential investments were obtained from meetings with Japanese companies in conjunction with Anwar's working visit to Japan from May 22nd to 24th.
Malaysia's inflation remained at 1.8% for the 3rd consecutive month in April. The National Department of Statistics says this was driven by price hikes in restaurants and accommodation services.
In a statement, it said April's figures were also led by rises in personal care, social protection, miscellaneous goods and services, as well as housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuels. Meanwhile, the country's core inflation in April 2024 increased to 1.9% as compared to the 1.7% recorded in March. 4 states also recorded inflation rates higher than the national level, namely Penang at 3.2%, Sarawak at 2.8%, Pahang with 2.4%, and Selangor with 2.2%.
The Education Ministry is gearing up to boost teacher skills through targeted training, preparing them to guide students in the realm of artificial intelligence. According to Education Minister Farhana Sheikh, following the recent rollout of the digital education policy, feedback indicated that students in the country possess significant capabilities, especially in AI innovation.
Memang anak-anak muda kita mempunyai dan kepayaan yang cukup tinggi khusus dalam AI ini, dan kita harus terus membimbing mereka. Sebab itu dalam aspirasi kita, guru-guru mestilah kompeten. Sebab itu kita memberikan tumpuan kepada kompetisi dan latihan guru kita untuk memandu anak-anak muda kita khusus dalam AI.
Farhana highlighted that students in rural areas will be brought into the digital fold, enhancing their expertise in AI technology. She said initiatives such as Teacher Activity Centres and the Digital Education Learning Initiative Malaysia platform, spearheaded by the ministry, would facilitate this effort. The 3-day celebration for National Journalist Day will kick off tomorrow. Ahead of the festivities, Abdul Rahman from the Centre for Independent Journalism discusses the urgency of establishing a media council to enhance journalistic standards in Malaysia.
HAWANA reminds us of the vital role of journalists play in informing the public and upholding democratic values. Expediting the establishment of the Media Council will significantly strengthen journalistic practices in Malaysia through several ways. For example, promoting ethical standards that will set and harmonize journalistic standards across the industry, ensuring that ethical guidelines are consistently followed. This will enhance the integrity and credibility of journalism in Malaysia. Meanwhile, it will protect journalists from undue pressures and interference, whether from the government or other powerful entities. This protection is essential for journalists to perform their duties without fear or favor. When the public sees that the media is regulated by an independent body that holds journalists to high ethical standards, it reinforces confidence in the information provided by the media.
Rahman also outlined key mechanisms for the Media Council's effective functioning.
For the Media Council to operate effectively, several key mechanisms and structures must be in place. Number one, a clear mandate and objectives. The Media Council needs a clear and well-defined mandate that outlines its roles and responsibilities. Transparent procedures. They must operate with high levels of transparency. This includes clear procedures for handling complaints, publishing regular reports on its activities, and making its decisions and deliberations publicly accessible. The third one, effective dispute resolution mechanism. Well, as an independent body, an impartial dispute resolution process is critical. The Malaysian Media Council should have a well-defined process for receiving and addressing complaints from the public and from the media practitioners. This to ensure a fair and timely resolutions.
We'll go for a quick break. Stay tuned for more.
Yang anda nantikan.
We're back with all the drama.
100% bersedia demi kejayaan. Wira akan bangkit. Sejarah bakal tercipta. Marilah menuju kegemilangan bersama kami.
And it's a night to celebrate.
UEFA Euro 2024. Kesemua 51 perlawanan secara langsung di Sport TV dengan Astro.
Seterusnya, peminjam Perbadanan Tabung Pendidikan Tinggi Nasional atau PTPTN digesa merebut peluang insentif diskaun bayaran balik pinjaman.
Fenomena equinox menjadikan bumi dan matahari berada pada jarak paling dekat dalam sistem solar.
Malaysia berjaya membanteras jenayah berkaitan dadah bernilai 990 juta ringgit sejak 2019.
Jangan meletakkan harapan tinggi berhubung soal mencari jawapan pesawat Malaysia Airlines MH370 yang hilang 10 tahun lepas.
For almost 8 months, the cruelty of the Zionist regime against the Palestinian people has continued, with the death toll now exceeding 35,000. The relentless and inhumane attacks by the Zionist regime against innocent civilians in Gaza have opened the eyes of the world and increased protests and condemnations against Israel, including in Malaysia. In line with the vocal and unwavering support for Palestine, Astro Malaysia Holdings Berhad, in collaboration with RTM, has launched an initiative through a special channel, Malaysia for Palestine.
The special channel, featuring a variety of segments, will be aired 24 hours a day, starting at 12 noon on May 25th on Astro Channel 111. This is part of an effort to raise public awareness about the humanitarian crisis in Palestine. In addition to featuring well-known local celebrities and personalities, Malaysia for Palestine will also raise funds for Palestine through the Palestinian Humanitarian Trust account. Among the popular artists involved are Datuk Sri Siti Nurhaliza, Datuk M. Nasir, Datuk Shafinas, Alif Sata, Dr. Su Win Chi, Cik Puan Sarima Ibrahim, and many more. Malaysia for Palestine can also be watched on the Gempak, Xuan, and Ulegem websites.
In other news, Singapore Airlines is taking a more cautious approach to turbulence, including not serving hot drinks or meals when the seatbelt sign is on. The national carrier tweaked its in-flight seatbelt sign policy after a turbulence incident this week killed one person and left dozens seriously injured.
The carrier also changed at least one flight route after the incident on Tuesday, when flight SQ321 from London to Singapore was diverted to Bangkok for an emergency landing after the plane was hit by turbulence. A 73-year-old British passenger died of a suspected heart attack. The daily London-Singapore route has been flown twice since the incident, avoiding the part of Myanmar where the sudden turbulence occurred about 3 hours before the scheduled landing. As of late Thursday, 48 passengers and 2 crew members were still hospitalized in Bangkok, with 20 remaining in intensive care.
Hundreds of people are feared dead after a massive landslide hit a remote village in northern Papua New Guinea. The disaster struck a village in Enga province at around 3 a.m. local time when many people were at home asleep. Australian media reported that more than 100 people have been killed, although villagers believe this figure may be nearly 300. The village is located about 600 kilometers north of the capital Port Moresby. Efforts to rescue people or recover bodies have been hampered as the landslide brought down large rocks, trees, and caused houses to collapse. The landslide has also blocked a highway access near the village, hindering relief efforts. Meanwhile, a 2-story building has collapsed in the popular Spanish tourist island of Mallorca, killing 4 people and injuring at least 20 others. Emergency services say 7 victims are in serious condition, with more people believed to be trapped under the rubble.
The building, which houses a restaurant, collapsed on Thursday night in the south of the Mediterranean island's capital, Palma de Mallorca. People had fallen into the basement below where customers and staff were gathered. The cause of the disaster is still under investigation, but authorities say the terrace may have collapsed due to excessive weight. The City Council of Palma has announced 3 days of mourning. The incident comes at the start of the high tourist season for Mallorca, which is renowned for its pristine waters and beaches. More than 17 million tourists visited the island last year.
That wraps our Awani Tonight. I'm Farhana Sheikh. Thank you for watching.